All right, now.
Professional.
Yeah, here we are with Kevin Gleason. He's going to do a demo for us. We'll really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Susan's sitting at the controls there, and we're in Jerry Martin's backyard. Just in case you're watching this as a recording, we are SCAPE, Southern California Artists Painting for the Environment. We're headquartered in Santa Barbara. So Kevin's gonna go ahead and do the start to paint, and if you want to ask any questions during the painting, that's fine. If you want to type them in and Susan can ask them, that's fine too. And uh, since he was, a high school art teacher, he's used to people talking to him while he's painting. So we'll be asking him questions as he goes and fill in a little more information about him and what he's up to. So have at it.
All right, thanks, Fred. All right, hi everybody. I'm in Jerry's amazing backyard here. It's, I think, my favorite backyard I've been in Santa Barbara, and we're going to paint up towards the mountains here. And it's when I'm trying to decide kind of what to paint. There's so many different views. There's a view of the island out this way, and a cool cactus garden, and the mountains over here, and the gardens, and there's so much to look at. I think every time you come to a place, like I might make a different painting, kind of changes sort of what's drawing you. So at the moment, what I really am enjoying is this path through the flowers that's going up here. It's framed by two coast live oak trees. And then we have this view up to the ridge with lots of rocks up on the mountains there. So that's going to be kind of the subject of the painting. And I got a little bit of a head start. I've kind of sketched out a little bit and planned out my design. Put a little closer, you can see. And so to me, I don't always do this in pencil first. A lot of times I just start right on the canvas, but this first step is to me kind of the most important step, really. So often I skip this. I'm so eager to get to the colors and I start putting things down. And I later realized that there wasn't a strong design there. And no matter how well it's painted or the detail that's there, I find myself being unsatisfied because there wasn't an idea or a composition that goes through it. So that's the big thing when I teach my students and stuff is teaching design, how to sort of look at the landscape, how to simplify this complexity we see. There's so many different things going on there. There's like a 3,000 shades of green and all kinds of little flowers and leaves. And what we kind of want to do, a painting's not a photograph. It's an interpretation, and it's the landscape filtered through the eyes of an artist. So what we're trying to do is see what you find beautiful about something and then paint it in. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And when I start sketching, I'm just going to mix kind of a brown. The way I make brown is I just mix my palettes based on primary colors. So I just have, like many of you guys I know, I just have a warm and cool of each primary as my palette. And so if I mix all three of those together, I get a neutral kind of brownish color that I can pull in different directions. And when I sketch, I don't look at that. I look at this because I've already done this work figuring this out. So I'm going to sketch this in, but then I'm going to go, when I go and start to paint, then I go and look there instead of the sketch. So anyway, I'll start just sort of mapping out the shapes that I was seeing.
Ruby, it's 3. Good girl.
Is that a woodpecker we're hearing?
Sounds like it.
I really like that one oak tree. That's kind of like the star of the show here. So I'm putting it right here. We're sort of like, the rule of thirds, where the sweet spot. Yeah, it's sort of where I place that oak. It's also I know it's going to get some attention because it's the darkest
So we have a question for
Shape in my design.
she
Hi,
says,
Nina.
Hey, Kevin. She says you're working on a tone canvas.
Yeah.
What do you use?
It's the tone is I'm ideally it would be acrylic, you know, because then it would be dry and wouldn't pick up into the paint. But this is just oil paint that I kind of scrumpled on and wiped flat. But for the tone, as far as the color goes, I'm looking for. It changes actually depending on what I'm painting. I'm looking for. Actually, look at the landscape and try and see. There's always kind of. I use the word static, you know, like on TV when like there's that snow that's sort of like when you have a bad, you know, connection and you have like a little bit of snow going through. I feel like atmosphere is kind of that way. Like when I look up here, I sort of see like a little bit of, you know, kind of like staticky sort of texture. And so I look for that color that
I'm in a meeting.
the color I see sort of like in between everything, and that's what I use.
Oh.
So this I see today sort of feels like, you know, like at different times it's more red, at different times it's more yellow. Today it's kind of a brownish, warm sort of tone that I sort of see out there.
So your limited palette, you two yellows, 2 reds, 2 blues.
Yeah, so today it changes. Today I have titanium white that's the white I always use because I like my white to be really strong and have a lot of I like to change the colors quickly. Some people like zinc white because you can it's more transparent. So like if you want to like the problem with titanium white is you add, you know, like a color like, you know, pink to it because you want to make like the light flowers, but it makes them all pastel-y. It makes them pasty.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas zinc white's more transparent, the color will be more vibrant, but it's also more because it's transparent. If there's a dark color under it, you can kind of see through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I see you got yellow ochre on there.
Yeah. So all right. So I've got cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, naphthol red is the red I'm using today, alizarin crimson, and ultramarine blue. And I don't have a cool blue today. I'm not going to, it's kind of, everything's gray, so I'm not going to need it. But I use like a cerulean or sometimes a phthalo blue or something like that for the cool blue.
Oh, that's it. So the your 2 yellows are yellow ochre and cad yellow.
Today.
Yeah.
I also, like I use azo yellow sometimes. I use cadmium lemon sometimes. It just depends on what the light, like if I'm painting like early in the morning with like sun coming through eucalyptus trees, you guys can imagine like that what that looks like. That would be a cadmium lemon day. And then but today is a yellow ochre day. It's kind of overcast and nothing's very saturated, so I don't want like a orange juice yellow that's going to make everything look really bright.
So I just muted everybody. If you want to unmute yourself to ask a question, feel free. You can just press the space bar and talk, or you can put a question or comment in the chat.
I really like I love rocks, so I'm enjoying this sort of cool rock formations up there. There's some little pine trees up on the ridge up there.
Oh yeah, sure is.
That's oh, I know where that is. What do they call that place? There's that trail from Gibraltar Road that goes up that way, and you can get up to that ridge. You know, Jerry?
Yeah, that ridge is behind this mountain. He's right. What is that hill? Yeah, this one is at the very top of tunnel trail. Goes up to Edison Falls up on the right.
Oh yeah.
And so this is actually what you're looking at.
That's the Dragon's Back kind of going up.
It's actually behind this hill here, which is Inspiration Point.
Okay.
Dragon's Back.
Oh, okay, so this is Inspiration Point right here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And behind that is Lacuba Point, which you can't see. right here, I had never looked at geological maps. I've never seen a name for the peak. It has a pass that goes up in the top of Gibraltar down to Gibraltar Reservoir. And that's called Andacolsa Pass, but I don't know what the name of the ridge is. Or if anyone knows, let me know.
I've been up there. There is a way to get there from Gibraltar Road. There's a trail. There's a place called the Buddha Cave that's on the way, and some rocks up there that you can get to.
Are you putting in your darks?
Oh yeah, so I'm putting in the darks. That tree, which was sort of my sketch, was the darkest shape. So I think what I'm going to do at first, I have a tendency sometimes to start getting sucked into the details, but I'm just going to real simply kind of just block in big, simple shapes and see where that gets us to sort of start.
So do you use darks to carry the eye through the painting?
Yeah, I think that I just sort of think of it as like value is the architecture of the composition. And so I have this dark kind of band that in my little value sketch that I did that's running through the center here.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm just trying to make sure that anything else that I put on here, if I put the darkest thing first, I can intentionally not let other areas get quite as dark as that. So I kind of preserve that as knowing that's as dark as I'm going to go.
So do you just use solvent or
Yeah, just use medium. Right now, actually, it's just I've been painting inside a lot and don't like to use Gamsol inside.
oh yeah.
But yeah, Gamsol or another thing I dip into every now and then. I've got it on my palette here, and half the time it dries out and I haven't touched it. But I have this
Oh yeah.
this solvent-free gel. I don't know if you guys use that,
Yeah, I've used that.
by Gamblin. So that's kind of nice for when the paint's feeling real stiff and doesn't really seem like it wants to spread. I'll put some of that down. So getting some darks in there. Kind of framing this path that's going to be going down. And then I may also just put a touch of the lightest color that I see,
Oh.
just so I can kind of see my whole range. So I did a little mixing ahead of time here just because while I'm talking, mixing is kind of really honestly the thing I spend most of my time doing when I'm painting. So I mixed the sky color, kind of that cool overcast gray that I see.
Yeah, I like that color.
And that tone underneath makes it, kind of vibrate a little bit. Like if I don't fully cover the canvas, I sort of like how that looks. So I'll just lay some of that down. I kind of work dark to light. So my next darkest thing is all these trees and stuff around my my dark trees. And
So you're just putting a little sky color up there just so you know what your light
Yeah,
is going to be.
so like even though it's overcast, the sky right now is value that is so light, like it almost makes me have to squint.
Yeah.
And you know, the dark that I see there is quite dark. If I was to hold up something black, it's almost like that value. But my white paint doesn't make me squint. It's got such a more compressed range. So this helps me at the beginning kind of see what that range is, and it's about relativity. It's like even though my paint can't do what the light is doing here, I'm trying to get the relationships down so that, for example, there's a bigger jump between the value of the sky and the value of this mountain than there is between these bushes and that tree, or something. So I'm kind of thinking of everything kind of in relationship. So I just really kind of want to get some color down. That color I put, it feels a little too dark because it's competing
Could
with
you
that
let
tree.
us know what colors you're using?
Yeah. Well, it's reddish, bluish, yellow is the smart-ass answer. It's a gray that I made by mixing blue, red, and yellow together. That's kind of what all my colors are. They're all bluish, reddish, yellow. But the ones that look more bluish, are leaning more towards the blue direction. The ones that look more reddish, of course, I've got a little more red in them. So it's sort of like with the value. It's that you guys all know as painters, like painting's just looking for relationships and trying to kind of map out, how light or dark one thing is compared to another, how saturated or desaturated something is, how the tones are different. So that mountain up there is not quite as violet as I'm about to make it. It's a little more what we would call green. But when I look at that oak tree and then look at that mountain right next to it, the mountain looks purple. So it's if you look at anything long enough, the color will change right in your perception, right in your eyes. So when I'm looking for color, I don't look at one spot. I look at the whole scene. And it never hurts to put a mark down. I can sort of put a mark down on the canvas, and that looks pretty good. I think I want a lighter value. I'm going to add a little more white, and I'm going to warm it up just a little bit. I'm going to add some yellow ochre. But to me, in the shadows, that's kind of the color I'm seeing. There's this canyon. These rocks sort of make this canyon. Coming down here. I like these lines, all the places that the waters cause, like running around the rocks, has caused the mountains to erode. I love how all those angles are different. So I'm really trying to pay attention to those angles that I'm seeing. If you run out of paint, you guys ever feel that laziness? Like you don't want to mix the color again. You just try and like add more medium and get it to spread out. For me, I've learned that not to be afraid of mixing a color again, and also not to care if it's not exactly the same. I've realized it's actually better if it's not, because that means my painting's going to have more color. If when I mix the color again, it's a little different, that's actually a good thing.
More variation.
Yeah, yeah, more variation. Yeah, thanks, Red. All right, gotta get these little pine trees up on the ridge. Just made a compositional mistake of making 3 trees and doing what we have a tendency to do, which is I just put all 3 exactly the same size, evenly spaced, going across. So going back and trying to change that a little, I want, anytime I put shapes down, I want maybe one to be a little taller, one a little shorter, different spaces between them, you know, thinking of them like, thinking of your composition like music, and how we want different notes and different spaces between that note, those notes, and how that is what creates kind of rhythm. I think the sun's going to come. Plein air painting, the landscape is going to look totally different in about 15 minutes here.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We're going to go with it. That's what I love about a plein air painting outdoors, is it's not one single moment. It's a collection of moments, and you sort of, some of the new things that happen I'm going to have to ignore, and some of them I'm going to go with. One thing that's not ideal is the sun is starting to strike my canvas. You can see my shadow on it.
Yeah,
so I'm going to move that if that's okay. Where's the sun? The sun's that way. If I do that, you guys can't see it.
Well,
we could move.
we can move our base of operation.
Well, yeah, maybe I'll do this. And can we move the camera right there? They can't really see necessarily what I'm looking at anymore, but
Where do you want the camera? On this side of it.
well, wherever you can, maybe if it's here, if you can still
Yeah,
see the
let's try
painting.
that, yeah.
And
Oh, watch out for this cord.
yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Can people
We're
at
not
home
looking at your palette as much, but maybe they've seen the palette enough. I don't know.
can people at home see the landscape and the painting pretty well?
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully. Yes, you got a thumbs up from Odessa.
All right.
Thank you, Odessa.
I'm going to block in this path here. So all of my plants here are kind of darker than the ground around them. And so they're different values, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just block in. These colors maybe are going to change, but I'm just kind of indicating the shapes of a lot of these. Oh man, that's getting gorgeous with the sun hitting everything. Trying to get lots of variety in the sort of different plant forms that I see here. I'm not using, I'm going to go and fill these areas with color right now. These are just kind of like, almost like placeholders of value. Just sort of seeing how dark or light I want things to be.
Anybody else feel a drop?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
We don't want to talk about it, do we?
So far,
That's the nice
so
thing
good.
about oils. You can paint in the rain. It works.
Yeah. Have you ever painted in the snow?
I have painted in the snow,
How does that
and
go?
uh, it's with oils. It's not bad. I've worn gloves. I grew up in Tahoe, so I go in my parents, the creek that was like my playground as a kid, in their backyard. I've painted it many, many times, and yeah, it goes. I can hear rain. um, it goes. It goes well. Your fingers get cold, but yeah, it's fun to do it. But I have painted actually one of my paintings that I felt when I had finished it. It looked. I was so happy with how it looked. It was a acrylic painting I did in the snow,
Oh, wow.
and my paint, was so cold. Like the paint was like turning into like ice cream on my palette. So I put it on kind of thick,
Oh.
but it was all sparkly. It's like painting with like ice cream, basically colored ice cream. And it looked awesome until I brought it into my parents' house and
Velvet.
all the ice crystals melted. And so, like the whole thing is like,
The best views we've had of the campus.
Because we're closer.
You can see really well.
So you're putting in all flat, sort of all flat shapes and stuff, and then you go back over.
um, and mostly I'm trying to just really trying to capture uh, the lights and darks, what I did with the pencil here,
Yeah.
trying to make sure that that's 90% of the work. Like once I have that laid down, then I can go and have fun getting all the details and stuff.
There's some saying about value does all the work and color gets all the credit.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And it's no matter how many times I've heard that and learned it, it's easy to understand, but it actually is really hard to practice, and I'm not sure why that is.
Yeah.
But like as artists, I think one thing that makes I've noticed, teaching students all these years, like one characteristic that I think artists have is pride in their work, but also there's always like a little bit of dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
We have kind of it's almost an impossible task. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
And then you look at this, it's there's so much beauty in the world and so much complexity. So I think that's what's rewarding about it. It's really nice having something that will never, no matter how good we get, there'll always be more to learn. Like there'll always be a level that's better. And so I'm always chasing different ideas and things, trying stuff out to try and take my art like in a different direction or try something new. And it's good to do that, but sometimes when I do that, it takes me away from the basics, and I'll start looking at my paintings and they'll be missing something. And inevitably, that's the value does all the work thing that I always have to come back to. Like if you can really internalize that and figure out how to see it and how to design with it, then you can, that before you can play, you have to have that working. All right, so I'm looking for, oh man, I'm looking for the color around my purples here because that mountain does have some green to it, but it's not as green as this. It's still more gray. And so I'm going to try and play around here and mix the color. It's going to feel like sunlight, like the light parts of that mountain.
Yeah, it's a Beals.
No.
Oh,
Oh, it's a donkey.
it's a donkey.
Yeah,
I thought, what kind of a bird is
Yeah.
that?
there's one time Jerry was taking care of the neighbor was gone and he was looking after it.
Yeah.
Oh. Donkey sitting.
Yeah,
Wow.
like big dogs.
Mhm.
So this is one thing about color that's so interesting is that color to me is starting to look like relatively to the other colors, like kind of like what I see up there. But here I think I've almost got it. Yeah, that's what I see. So that color in this context looks like sunlight hitting that mountain. But I'm just going to show everybody. I don't know if you guys can see. That color is just mud. You know, like it's
Hey, that's
Oh, yeah.
cheating.
it's just it's like it's all relative. Like so that I mean, if you could, I'll put a little on my glove here. It's just like it has no color.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
but
really. No, that's right.
so color to make color, like someone had asked like what color is it that you're mixing? It's they're all bluish reddish yellow, and yeah, it's just trying to
But when you put it on there, I mean,
on there it looks
it looks
green, huh?
green.
Yeah, yeah, it's so interesting. And you know, in another context on another painting it wouldn't look green. You know, it could look red or it could look yellow depending on what's going on.
So that color really works, I think.
That's the most important colors are the ones that uh you know, like you say, like color does all the work or whatever. The ones that do the most work are the ones that you can't even name the color. You know, it's but relative to everything else. And my art's changed over the years. Like I'm a sucker for saturated color. Like I would just like put like the brightest colors I can in. And I do like a lot of artists that do that really push the chroma and make things really saturated. Um, but as I'm getting older, I'm really starting to appreciate um, grays, you know, and just all those different shades they can have.
I was watching this demo by Kevin Person,
Uh-huh.
and he said that people ask him how he mixes a certain color, and he said most of the time I don't know because he mixes kind of pools of color,
Uh-huh.
and then he mixes out of those pools with each other so that you don't really know.
Yeah.
And then he takes the color he mixed and maybe may add that to something else. So
Yeah.
when you come down to the end of it, I mean, sometimes you know, but a lot of times you can't tell people what's in.
Yeah. I do that too, what he said about pools. Like my sky color, a lot of times I will add a lot of different places because the sky is reflecting down into everything. So I'll take my tree color and add some sky on it. And on the top of those trees, you can see the, well, not right now because the sun's coming out, but if it was overcast still, you'd see like the light of the clouds reflected down. Oh, I'm going to try and mix the color of those rocks. It's going to be another one of those colors that going to look very gray on the palette. A warmer gray than the last one. I need more value contrast.
Yeah.
It's actually not that far off from the color of the path. When I look at the path and I look at those rocks, it's similar. 'Cause. 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 ' I'm going to be teaching a little 1-day workshop in a couple weeks. So yeah, I can share that with people too.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's Thursday in 2 weeks. It's $100 just for I'll do like an hour and a half demo in the morning, and then have everybody start their paintings and come around and work individually with people on their color mixing, composition, and design, and all those things, and just sort of have a workshop to help people with the painting. So if any of you guys wanted to participate, if you just go to my website, there's I have like at the bottom of the first page, there's like all the blog posts, and the top is like the details. So you can click on that, or just email me if you have my email, and tell me you want to do it.
I really like your webpage. It's really
Thank you.
your,
I got one of those FASO web pages a couple years ago, and it does make it easier to like do posts and do all that stuff with things on there. I'm starting to so just looking now at my painting, suddenly I find my eyes are going here a lot more than any other areas, and it's because I have the smallest shapes. So the smallest, detail is basically just small shapes. And our eyes like to go to where there's detail. And that area of the painting is not necessarily the most important to me. I kind of want people to be down here more. And so I got a little carried away with the detail too early without looking at the whole thing. So I'm just going to kind of like remove some of that and go back later and figure that area out again. It's interesting how blue, this color is actually quite gray, but it's looking really blue right now. I didn't feel like it did when I first put it on, but I think with the sun coming out, it's interesting how the sun kind of changes how the colors look. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to add a little bit of my, I'm going to mix kind of a gray. I don't want my viewers to be confused. I want them to know that it was kind of a cloudy day. I'm going to put some darker tones up in the sky here. See all kinds of little cloud shapes. I'm going to
so they know it's an overcast day.
Exactly. And just always thinking of design. I like shapes, so I'm just thinking of like, that's all a painting is shapes of colors put together. So I'm kind of thinking about even within the sky shape, it's different. Just I'm creating. To get a little more of that dark color. That looks too green. The big thing that I would always, with my students who are sort of new to painting, they would be timid about, they'd sit mixing and looking at their palette for a really long time without trying a color out. And that's really, really important. Is just put a piece of whatever you're mixing on there, because until you do, you can't tell what direction the color has to go.
Question from the website, does it, whoops.
Oh.
Your website doesn't specify where the workshop will.
Oh yeah. So I'm waiting to see how many participants there are. So yeah, just email me and let me know that you're interested. And when I know how many people there are going to be, and also when we know a little bit more what the weather's going to be like that day, we'll decide on the place. It'll be somewhere where we can, have sun or shade, where there's restrooms, for everybody and stuff like that. So yeah, I've several places that I've taught workshops in the past, and they're all good for different reasons. So it kind of depends on the size of our group. Those tree trunks in there. And one of my when I paint palm trees, I always paint the bushy part, that's in the sky. And I come back later and add the stems. But I've had paintings before where I've forgotten to put the stems, and I don't even notice. You just forget. So I was trying to get those trunks in as soon as I can there.
So you paint sometimes in gouache?
I love painting gouache.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's the limitation of gouache is the size, the scale you can work. Um, but it's maybe the most versatile media, I think, because you can use it transparent like watercolor. You can do those things where colors bleed into each other. You can, add it opaquely, just like you can with oil paint, and put light colors over dark colors. So yeah, there's so many things you can do with it, and also you can re-wet the paint after after you laid it down. You can go and sort of edit things. So it's really, really versatile.
So why is there a size limitation?
Just because, well, for one thing, you have to work on paper, and it dries very quickly. So like if you're making a brush stroke from here to here, with oil or acrylic, that's not a problem. With gouache, it's like you get that far, more paint, you get that far, and you'd be painting for days.
I haven't seen many tiny brush pens.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah. Just it kind of lends itself more to smaller stuff.
It seems like, from what I've read, it's pretty popular now amongst artists.
Yeah, it's and my students, when I would introduce it to them, like they loved it. For beginners, it's very forgiving, and you can grow a lot by painting in it for a while. It always takes me when I start painting with gouache, like anytime I switch from gouache to oil or vice versa, I have to make a couple bad paintings just to remember, how to use it, because they're different from each other. Like they behave very differently. Gouache does have that characteristic. I like acrylic too. Like acrylic, gouache dries a different color than it looks when it's wet.
Oh yeah.
So there is that challenge, but if you paint with it for a couple days in a row, you don't even think about it anymore. You just kind of get used to. You just know it's going to do that.
It dries darker, or
it depends on the color.
oh,
So yeah, light colors dry darker, and dark colors dry light. Then they look when they're wet, and then between ones you don't know what they're going to do.
that makes it tricky.
It makes it tricky. I'm actually, if it works out with the workshop that I'm going to do, I was thinking of doing a gouache one also, because a lot of people have been asking if I would do a gouache demo. So I might do one that's like we'll go out and paint with gouache one day. It's when I go backpacking and stuff, that's what I take.
Well, I hear you're going to go backpacking.
Yeah, I'm going to do a lot of backpacking.
A lot of walking.
A lot of walking this year. I'm going to hike the Pacific Crest Trail. It's always been a dream to do that whole thing. And going to try
how long do you think that's going to take?
If I do average 20 miles a day, it'll take me about 5 months.
Wow.
So yeah, it'll be a lot of walking.
And you're gonna paint every day.
And that's the plan. I'm gonna take this down so this. Yeah, I want to make a painting a day. And yeah, the paintings will go from, oh thanks, Greg. The desert, um, all the way up to the Sierras and the Cascades. It's going to be so fun to just sort of
Variety.
I can't wait to watch the landscape change, and it's going to be fun to document it with painting. And just every day, that'll be my job is walking 20 miles and finding that one place in those 20 miles that makes me want to stop and make a painting.
So then when you get back, you're gonna make larger paintings out of those things.
Yeah, I'd like to make some studio paintings from them. I might try and have an exhibit of the gouache paintings. And I was thinking if, depending on what I come up with, I might even try and make like a little book, just
Oh yeah,
of all the paintings of the trail,
Yeah.
sort of showing the trail as it goes.
What are you doing to get in shape for that?
I'm doing lots of running right now, so I'm doing a training plan like for a 50K like ultra run, just running lots of miles, just trying to fit like the 20-year-olds who do the trail say, oh, you'll just get in shape, hiking it. But I know better at my age. Like I need to get in shape for it. So okay, so look at this. Things are changing a little bit, and quite a bit actually. I'm going to look, this foreground here, has a lot of interest. There's all these different colored succulents and flowers. I like the reds and the violets that are in there. So I want to start getting some of those in, but I don't think I'm going to go as fully bright as they look right now with the sun hitting them, because I'm going to remember kind of what it looked like earlier when we were here. So sometimes I'll just like put a little piece of color down and see if it looks too bright or if it looks like it's going to work. So there's these red succulents that I'm trying to sort of think of them as like an element in the painting that's sort of making a pattern or design out there. And then there's some that are very yellow-green. I'm going to mix some yellow. See what that looks like. If it starts to get too strong, it's going to look garish and against the colors that I have here. So I'm going to tone that down a little bit.
Question I have a question.
Yeah.
For Christine.
Uh-huh.
Kevin, could you speak about your brush strokes? I see you very precise direction a lot.
Yeah. Just like anything else, like always trying to create variety. And so yeah, I'm using mostly flat brushes these days. And flat brush, you turn it horizontal, can make a thin line. If you turn it this way, it can make a broad line. And if you turn it diagonally, it can make any thickness in between. I can draw with just the tip of it, just the corner of it, to get a certain type of mark. Like if I want to make a dot, I just touch the corner down. And so, yeah, I'm always trying to think about variety in my brush strokes, and I like that. Like it's kind of interesting. We want them to all, like, every artist has their calligraphy, so you kind of don't want to think about it too much. Um, you kind of just want to do the marks that come naturally. Um, but what I try not to do is like that thing I talked about, like where I want the paint to go further and I don't feel like mixing more color. I try and avoid doing that. Um, because that'll make, instead of having, I like each brush for me, like what I find really attractive in a painting is I like each brush mark to kind of have some character to it. Um, so if you don't have enough paint, there you won't really have a brush mark. So I'm gonna go, and a lot of these bushes and shapes, they need a little shadow at their base. They're a little too, they're not grounded yet.
Good question from Mila.
Mila, hey Mila.
Do you use the slow dry medium with your wash?
With gouache, no. The shade. I try, and it happens like where the beautiful view is where you have to end up going. But a painting sitting in the sun with the sun on your paint with gouache is really uh, tiring and frustrating, because the paint just keeps drying on you before you have time to put it on the page. So yeah, I try and sit in the shade. Okay, so we got these lavender bushes that are, the light's totally changing. I almost need to not look at reality for a little bit, and in my imagination remember what this looked like 30 minutes ago. And you guys should tell me when I've gone too long or gone long enough. Like, once you start painting, you lose track of time, and I have no time. What's going to be? How much longer should I go?
Yeah, we're at an hour.
Okay.
We have to go over an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Seems like you covered quite a bit in an
Yeah.
hour.
Okay. So I want to get some of those violet flowers. I have a lot of purple in this painting. Oh, but it still reads. I'm going and just creating texture where the lavender is. I like those orange flowers back in the distance there. And the greens under those are kind of more yellowish. So get some of that in there. Okay. All right, and then this turquoise color here, I'm going to leave it for now. I haven't done anything really to this midground yet. and it feels like it wants some definition. There's a eucalyptus tree that I didn't really paint yet that I might throw in there, or I might ignore it. I think the first thing I'm going to do is and people at home, I won't be offended if you're like, okay, I've been watching for an hour. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
It'd be nice if they had a second hour, finish it, see how you do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm painting negative space around some of these trees that I see back there. Try and bring them forward. And this tree too needs some little holes going into it. That's oh, did we?
Did we have this extension?
Down.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we didn't. Well, for me to go to the webcam, every once in a while, I go to the webcam, you have to go to the webcam to see me. It will as
Okay, so now, I mean, at this point in the painting, really what I'm doing is just adding variety and trying not to, I kind of feel like the painting generally feels like what I'm going for. So I don't want to do anything that's too punchy like that just was. So anytime I put something down, but you got to put a mark on the painting to know. So anytime I put something down that does that, I'll go back and tone it down a little. So that's better. It's still a different color. It's lighter, but it's not screaming at us.
Well, the goal was to make those two trees, particularly that one tree.
Yeah.
I think that you accomplished that as
Yeah.
far as the viewing it, those two trees
Yeah.
draw your eye.
Yeah. Thank you. And at a certain point, sometimes I might have almost done it even too much, which I think in this one, I might go back here and I feel like we could use a little bit of a darker shape behind this tree. See how that shadow kind of comes across? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to mix darker color. So that's what's so nice about oil paint. Is
So it's as if there's something growing back there, which there is.
Which there is. Yeah, lots of things.
Lots of things growing back there. Oh, that's cool.
So I'm gonna look at this. We got like almost a blue sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. For this painting, I'm gonna sort of play with getting a little bit of that. So let's just be kind of experimental here and see what happens. First thing I'm gonna do is mix. First thing I'm gonna do is I don't have any room on my palette left for new colors, so I'm just gonna kind of scrape it down. Make some more space. And we can kind of go crazy here. Let's, I'm gonna mix some sunlight. So I'm just gonna mix a bright yellow, very light in value. And see what happens. If I remember at first when the fog was starting to burn off, the underside of that cloud was catching some sunlight on it. I'm going to put that in. And I'm going to mix a little lighter version of my sky color. Kind of have a place where that's kind of coming through a little bit. I'm going to mix the cloud color again. Darken it in a little bit. See a little bit of drama up there. And maybe there's a place where when the sun was first burning through, it created a little more drama and contrast here. So I'm going to go up on my mountain here. That color is too dark. I want to go and get a little more detail on these rocks. Rocks over this way. And then that gray color, see if I can ever mix that again. Probably not the same way, but that's okay. Oh, that's pretty close. Got lucky. Add a little yellow to it so it feels more like sunlight. And I imagine this light's coming down, and I'm going to have it striking the plains of that mountain that are sort of facing in that direction. Sort of looking at that, I actually use my imagination a little, so I'm looking at the mountain and seeing which parts of it are pointing up towards the sky where I saw that light coming down. And then back here, what I'm doing is I'm just sort of making a little bit lighter versions of all these colors. And suddenly I can have like some of that sunlight hitting the top of these trees back here. And then down where my path is here. Let that light come through a little bit. Kind of goes So this is going to be a painting that now is half foggy, half sunny, which is kind of what the day is. So it's maybe, you know, kind of what is happening here. And then this lime green or turquoise color that I have, I'm going to make it a little warmer. Now it looks kind of sunny. Try to keep some shadows. Make that work, I need to make the rest of the path a little darker. Anyway, sometimes when you get to that place where you find you're making most of the stuff up, maybe a good time to stop and look at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
That's really nice. Really a great
Yeah.
demo.
Yeah, thanks.
Really enjoyed it. And everybody, remember, he's got a class going. So you graduated from UCSB, did you?
Yes.
With a degree in art, studio arts,
Yes.
but now you're a plein air artist.
Fred,
Yeah.
can you get in the frame?
It's,
Oh, they want, Mary wants to see the painting great on.
Oh, okay,
And
sure.
Nina says, great demo. She has to take off.
oh, thanks, Nina.
Okay, there.
But it's,
Oh, got it. That better?
Christine says the violet background out remind me of Sydney Roy.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but I'll check it out.
I love it too.
Well, I really like the way when you walked in these trees,
Mm-hmm.
but I noticed when you came back, you put darks over top of that,
Mm-hmm.
and then this up here, and not a lot of halftone, but I thought it was great.
Oh, thanks, Fred. Yeah, I mean, it looks so different. I was looking up there for colors. You know, that's kind of what we're doing is just at a certain level, if you get the colors right, you know, the painting's going to look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the light's changing like today, it's, you know, you sort of play around and
yeah,
it'll be interesting to go. I'll look at this with fresh eyes, you know, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take a picture. I always do that. So you can at least kind of remember what it looked like, you know, when you're back home. And thank you.
Well, any other questions?
Oh, wait. Will you post the painting later, please? Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
From Marion.
Yeah, I'll put it on my Instagram, on the Instagram probably in a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll post the video of this to YouTube as soon as it's done too. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful out. Go for a walk now. It's so nice out here. So
Well, thanks for doing this, Kevin.
yeah, thanks, Fred.
Really great.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, everybody.
Really enjoyed. Thanks so much.
Okay.